Welcome to the Jen Cares Powered by Chosen Live podcast, a podcast that brings the community to you. Each week, we feature a guest that will help us stay in the know. We are here every Monday at 8 p.m. on Facebook and YouTube. Be sure to like, comment, and share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Now, here's your host, Jen Cares.
Good evening and welcome to Jen Cares, powered by Chosen Counselors, where we bring the community to you. I am your host, Jen Cares, and the founder of Chosen Counselors, a nonprofit organization that seeks to inspire, motivate, empower, and strengthen individuals and families. As always, I want to say thank you to each and every one of you for tuning in, for liking, for sharing, for coming back, and all that jazz. I truly, truly do appreciate each and every one of you. I want to say special thanks to Darnell Johnson for pushing us to pursue the dream on last week. It takes work. It gets hard. It can become frustrating, but guess what? It is worth it. As March is Women's History Month, today's highlight, we want to highlight someone. So, Women's History Month, let's talk about it. Marian Anderson, known as opera singer. Marian Anderson was one of the greatest American contraltos of the 20th century and the first African American to perform with the New York Metropolitan Opera. When the Daughters of the American Revolution refused to allow Anderson to perform at Constitution Hall in Washington, D.C. in 1939, the public was outraged. First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt invited her to sing instead at the Lincoln Memorial on Easter Sunday the same year. In a performance heard by millions of radio listeners, she was later a delegate to the United Nations Human Rights Committee and a U.S. State Department Goodwill Ambassador, and in 1963 was one of the first ever Presidential Medal of Freedom recipients. So tonight we honor Marian Anderson. Mm-mm-mm. All right, friends, let's get into it. I have been waiting for tonight. It's going to be so, so good. Tonight, we conclude our March 4th series. Whatever it is that you said you wanted to do, what is stopping you is the question. Now, I know we get a lot of ideas and we say we want to do these things, but guess what? We can start today. It's not too late. Tonight's topic is unpopular opinion. It's going to be good. Unpopular opinions are simply defined as ideas and beliefs that go against or completely contradict the conventional status quo. An unpopular is a relative term because one's opinion may only be that way because of where they're located in the world, some say. Unpopular opinions are sometimes avoided, disliked, out in the cold, out of favor, rejected, unattractive, undesirable, unloved, unwanted, unwelcome. I know my unpopular opinion of today is I've heard enough about the Oscars situation, okay? I told the Lord the other day, help us to see the hiccups as clear as our hiccups, as clear as we see them in others. But that's my unpopular opinion. My opinion, is mine. Might not be popular. Some people want to hear it. I don't want to hear it no more. But tonight's guest is my brother and friend Jeremiah Cheese. And what he talks about is sometimes considered unpopular. But because it's unpopular, that does not mean that it should not be talked about. He has blessed me since the day that I first met him. And I worked to support him as he works to support me, and I'm grateful for that. He recently became a father, recently married to the lovely Brandy, and he's such an amazing person. So help me welcome and introduce my friend and brother, Jeremiah Chase. Woo!
Hey, what's up, everybody? What's going on, Jen? How you feeling?
I can't complain. I'm excited. I think I need to get some claps. I be doing my little woo, and I don't think I'll be strong enough. I'm gonna work on that.
Yeah.
But you doing all right?
Say it again.
You doing all right though?
Oh yeah, I'm doing good. I'm doing
Awesome,
good.
awesome, awesome.
Look,
So
that's
we're
about
gonna
it
get
back.
into it. We're gonna get into it. So tonight we always start with a quote of the day. And today's quote of the day is to solve big problems, you have to be willing to do unpopular things.
Mm.
Again, to solve big problems, you have to be willing to do unpopular things. What's your thoughts on that?
I think that it's accurately that is absolutely accurate.
Mhm.
Um, I think it's dead on. It's definitely on point. And I do think that it's needed. It kind of puts people like we gotta crush the fear of unknown. And it's like, look, like, do what you're scared to do. Everybody's not going to be in an agreement with what you want to do, with what you want to be creative with. But even before you get to everybody else, because you got to deal with you before. Because like, if you deal with you, if you break your own fear, other
Yes.
people's thoughts will be like automatically won't even matter. But I feel like the main thing is just overcoming ourselves for that. Tell you that it's not that it's not popular, but
Mm-hmm.
you gotta still push through it. So
And it's so hard sometimes. I'm not sure totally why it's unpopular, why it's so hard, but it is a part of the process. But I'm encouraged to know that even though it's unpopular, it doesn't mean that it can't be done.
mhm,
Because even getting a license, it's popular, it's unpopular. It should be popular to get a license, but unpopular, some people feel like you don't need a license and things of that sort. So
right.
sometimes the unpopular thing is not the greatest thing to do. Or it is depending on the situation. I don't know. Can't judge you. You gotta hope that you're making the right decision for that moment. But
Hmm.
definitely to solve a problem sometimes is doing that unpopular thing.
Yeah,
It's not
definitely.
robbing a bank.
But right,
It's paying a bill.
yeah, it's always amazing to me because I wish that I can just make people do what they're scared to do and like
Mm,
just do it like because you can't like and like a lot of times you can't see that manifestation and you can't feel it either. I'm like, yo, I
mm,
just want to show y'all what it
mm,
feels like.
mm.
You don't don't be afraid of who you gonna draw. You
Oh,
know, the positive will always be outweighed by the negative. And a lot of times it honestly since it's just fear. And
yes,
it annoys me, but
yes, yeah,
lead by example.
yeah, yeah. You're doing a good job of it. You're doing a good job. And we're going to get into that tonight, friends. As always, I prepared some questions to help guide tonight's topic. But if you have any comments, questions, be sure to drop them below and we'll bring them on up. So, first, Jeremiah, tell us a little bit about yourself. Who is Jeremiah Cheese?
Look, now 30 years old, my wife was like, finally, it's like that. You know, 'cause we're
Happy
8 years apart. So
birthday.
finally, dang, I was okay. But look, I'm musician playing Latin
Mhm,
percussion for over 20 years now.
mhm,
Uh, I love music. That's something a lot of people don't know.
mhm.
They may see something like, "Yo, Jeremiah," you are like, "Yeah, I've been doing this for a minute."
Yeah.
Like, um, I love the Lord now. And now it's weird because I sound like everybody else. Like, yeah, I'm a husband, father. I'm like, oh snap, yo, I'm really saying that now. Like, you know, I'm a creative. And it's crazy because me and my sister was talking about last night. How the scripture talks about how when Jesus was like, "Look, I no longer call you servant, but I call you friend."
Mhm.
And I asked a question. I was like, "Yo, like, how do we know we're a servant if God calls us a servant, or have we elevated to friend now?" You
Mhm.
know, I would like to believe I'm friend.
Yeah. Israel Holy said that I believe it. I'm a friend of God. He calls me friend.
Right. Yeah. So, I love the Lord. I'm saved since like the age of 15 years old. And look, I'm founder of Sex Can Wait a While. We do a ministry since 2018. We go from virginity to promiscuity and singleness to marriage.
Mhm.
Co-founder for Philadelphia Christian Fashion Week.
Woo-hoo.
Um, and the creative. I love creating. So yeah. So that's it.
Got it, got it. Now, one thing I didn't hear you say is photography. I feel like when I first met you was taking pictures.
You know what? You met me when I had my camera.
Hmm Um, Pastor Salim and Aisha Wright were having an event at their church. You were taking
Oh
pictures.
wow,
Yep.
you was there.
Yep.
Oh snaps! Yeah, that was the first Kingdom Courtship conference I went to.
Okay.
Yeah, yep.
I
I was
think
on
that might have been
photography.
my second one because it was at their new church. That's a little. I'm not sure what the city is called. It's
And
real.
South.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, yep. Yeah, I was there.
Yep.
I was doing and shout out to Pastor Sleemer Aisha Wright,
Yes.
God is a Kingdom Courtship. Awesome ministry.
Absolutely.
Um and yeah, I was doing photography there at that particular event.
Mm-hmm.
Um that was when I was doing G Club RT.
Mm-hmm.
Um Men's Talk Show. I'm not sure if you were aware of that.
I
But
didn't
we
know
were
about that,
talking
but I did know the pictures and some other
yeah.
pictures we had coming.
Yep.
Okay.
So that was the reason why I had a camera anyway.
Okay.
The recorded talk show we would do every Monday.
Got it. Got it. Cool, cool, cool. So yeah, so that's Jeremiah. So you are a walking headline that shares what some call unpopular opinion.
Hmm.
How do you feel about that? Is my first question.
Um, I embrace it.
Mm-hmm.
I take advantage.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's do it. Like I there's a lot of people where I don't feel comfortable. Um, I'm like, yo, like I've heard some pastors in their sermons talk about virginity,
Mm-hmm.
and sometimes people will talk about virginity in a sense where, yeah, because virgins, like I heard one pastor talk about how nasty virgins can be, right? It was kind of like a joke, right? Even though like there is some truth to that, but that's just being a human being too, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and also to that, it's just like my thing is like, yo, like, all right, but let's hear from an actual virgin, like somebody with that testimony.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's not a lot of people with that testimony and that's speaking on virginity. Now, which if you're speaking good things about virginity, all right, bet like yo, like I'm definitely with you. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I feel like people they want to hear not just what you shouldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes a lot of people that's living that life, they want to see the actual example,
Right.
you know,
Right.
because especially growing up in the church and stuff like that. Yeah, wait. You hear that from people who didn't wait.
Mm-hmm.
And some people they get annoyed by that, so that makes them not want to wait. Like
Right.
y'all telling me to do something that y'all ain't do. But
Mm-hmm.
then I also tell people, I say, yo, take heed to that.
Right.
Because trust me, even though they know what it is not to wait, so don't be the person like, oh, well, I'm a person, I always gotta experience something before I make a decision, whatever. No, you don't. You gonna try drugs?
Right.
Like so but yeah, it's a I embrace it and I take advantage. It's not offended, it's not offensive to me
Mm-hmm.
that but I know that uh I have a voice that a lot of people don't have,
Right.
so and I can speak up for a lot of people who are at the time because we're teaching and preaching to people like, yo, you have that same voice.
Right.
Don't be afraid to speak up. In my book, Virgin Men Do Exist, I talk about like a lot of men are under a rock,
Wait.
right? Yes, ma'am.
Oh, oh. I support. I
Yeah,
support.
yes, get it. So, like a lot of men are under a rock and a lot of men choose to go under that rock. So it's kind of like I come and knock on the rock and like, all right, yo, bro, like don't be like Patrick under that rock.
Right. Right.
you know. But it's just helping people from come under the rock, because you do have that voice. But just don't be afraid. Don't be afraid.
Was there ever a time that you were afraid though?
Afraid to
Speak up.
speak out.
Hmm. Or maybe like intimidated, because sometimes people can feel intimidated when you're talking about something in a way that they've never talked about it.
Mhm.
It's like, wait, what's he doing? Or no, like trying to shun you or shut you up and things of that sort.
That has never happened to me.
No, that's
That
good.
has never happened to me. Because you gotta think about it. When people hear the virginity testimony, whether you still a virgin now or
Hmm.
you practice, or you practice abstinence before marriage,
Right.
it's still a shock to everybody.
Yeah.
It's still a shock to the person who practiced the same thing you practice, but they felt like that they couldn't say nothing and they feel ashamed of what they did. They feel ashamed of their own journey,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Right.
the fact that you saying something, and it's like when I would go to events, I would go to like the secular events.
Mm-hmm.
It was one event I went to. It was like I actually sponsored. I was one of the sponsors for that
Mm-hmm.
joint, right? And I got up. I had my rings before sex T-shirt on,
Yes.
and I was just like, "Yo!" Like I talked about courtship. I talked about doing things God's way, and the
Mm-hmm.
whole room was quiet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what happened after that event? It was a dude that came up to me. He said, "Yo, like even though you're younger than me, man, yo, when you was up there speaking, yo, like I felt like, yo, I felt like I really encouraged him." Then
Yeah.
I was like, "God, why? Like he a grown behind man. He way older than me, and he was really influenced by my words. You know what I'm saying? And it was just like, yo, like to God be the glory." So honestly, sis, I literally like I want to be at the event where they're not talking about God because I
Yeah.
want to come and make a difference.
Yes. And that's like the thought for like our month of that marching forth and like you stepping out to do that unpopular thing. You stepping out to be that ray of sunshine because you be surprised whose life you're impacting just by showing up. You
Mhm.
know, just by that smile, just by that hug, just by that,
Yeah.
you got this, bro, you got this, sis. Or
Mhm.
whatever it is that you share of your life, of your comfort level and things of that sort, you'd be surprised how impactful it could be for somebody else.
Mhm. Amen.
Why is this so dear to your heart?
I never like, and I hope this makes sense. But I never like when people, uh, um, I never like when people get bullied.
Mm,
I never like when people feel like that they don't have no voice.
mm,
That cringes me. I'm like, yo, like growing up in school, like I was fighting.
mm,
Like I wasn't fighting in high school though, but I was fighting like from like first grade to like fourth grade
mm,
to you know, I was fighting on my block. Um, and I feel like that a lesson had to be taught if you feel like you're gonna pick on somebody because you feel like that they don't have no voice. You know what I
mm,
mean?
mm.
Even though clearly there was a better way, you know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like for violence and all that stuff like that. Like that's just the reality.
right.
My reality, somebody got those hands. That's my
Mm-hmm,
that was my reality.
mm-hmm,
And in this sense, talking about abstinence and being a voice for purity
mm-hmm,
and virginity and being a man, being a black man at that,
mm-hmm.
um, y'all can get these hands too, just in a different way. You know, you know what I'm saying? You know, like y'all can get these hands too.
Yes.
So, and I take pride in that. I take pride in that. You know, I said yes. I said yes, God. You know what? I was walking. I was walking from work, and God spoke to me. He said, "Yeah, I want you to start talking about uh what it is to be a virgin and how you deal with women."
Mm,
And I'm like, "All right, cool." You know, it wasn't like a thing like, "All right, I'm gonna do it later." But like it was like a week, 2 weeks later, God was like, "Yo, like I'm serious. Like you need to do this."
mm,
I was like, "You know what? All right, bet. Let's do it." You know, and I just hit the ground running, and that was 2017 was when I got the word,
mm.
but it was like a few in October we had launched a video, but our first event was April
Okay.
of that year.
And what was your first event?
Sex can wait a while.
Mm-hmm,
Um, that so that was April 21st, 2018. It was like even though that was the ministry name, we just called that the
mm-hmm.
name of the event too. Sex can wait a while,
Okay.
you know, to open up.
Okay.
Mhm.
Very nice. Very nice. So, what is the mission and purpose of the ministry? So, it's to educate others on that
Yeah,
sex
yeah,
can
yeah.
wait a while
So
and
yes, yep,
who to be a
yep,
virgin.
yeah, that's right. And yeah, so again, like we go from virginity to promiscuity. I'm sorry, to promiscuity and singleness to marriage.
Mm-hmm,
So like to break it down, um, Christ is always in the equation. I'm not just out here talking about abstinence and to wait. And the biggest how is God. The
mm-hmm,
biggest how is Christ. You know, because there are a lot of people. My homie told me the other day. He said, "Yo, like Muslims practice abstinence." You know what I'm saying? There are a lot of people who believe that those universe people. They practice abstinence. They
Mm-hmm.
practice celibacy. You know
Right.
what I mean? But they don't have God.
Mm.
Like they don't have Jesus Christ. So our ministry is a little different. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
yo, all right, cool. We're gonna tell you the how, but the biggest how is Christ.
Mm-hmm.
I
Mm-hmm.
mean, so we tell you all this stuff at the end of the day, but at the number one question is, are you saved? And even to break it down even more, we because I struggled with masturbation for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I experienced it before I was a teenager.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So we need to there's other root causes of why people end up doing
Right.
things. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? Like I didn't find out about masturbation from a video game or a tape or you know what I'm saying? Or
Mm-hmm.
it's something under my parents' bed. Like, no, that thing it curiosity what they say curiosity kills the cat. I
Yeah.
was a curious young boy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like so and it's just other things, like, it's just not just abstinence, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's just not just purity, it's just like, "Hey, yo, how you doing?" You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? We did events called from molestation or rape. You know what I mean? It's a lot of things that
Yeah.
tie into this that
Right.
all came perverted by the enemy.
Right.
So, we always gotta, everybody always has a different root cause.
Right.
So we literally says we gotta tackle everything.
Absolutely.
Everything needs to be talked about, and I
Right.
feel like that's every ministry.
Right.
Like, it's like, all right, cool, because there's plenty of times people they be like, all right, cool, y'all saying sex can wait a while, but I've been raped. What
Mm.
you got for me? You know what
Right.
I'm saying? All right, cool, let's get it.
Right.
Tomorrow we'll have somebody come on, talk about overcoming rape.
Mm-hmm.
You know
Mm-hmm.
what I mean?
Right.
Because you owe me so much what I can do. Now look, I'm gonna keep it a bean. I don't know if you was on that live one day when I was helping a young man um just encouraging him to tell his mom that his older brother was molesting him. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And well, not currently, but he was molested by his brother. He
Mm-hmm.
was afraid to tell his mom, like he was scared. But
Mm-hmm.
when he told me, after since I'm telling you, when he told me, when he texted me, he said, "Yo, I finally did it," and he said like he felt like so much was lifted from him. I
Mm.
was like, "Yo, that the only thing I could do is just praise God. Like, yo, God, you get all the glory right now."
Yes.
Because the fact that he came to me,
Right.
because a lot of times people they don't like after they open up to you, they don't want to tell nobody else. So it's like, okay, God, what tools can you give me at this point? Because sometimes it's going to have to be you, even though you don't have the testimony. So will you say yes to that? Because
Yes.
some people are like, all right, well, I don't have nothing to do with that. Let me. We be so quick to just tell people to pray and
Mm-hmm.
send them another resource. So we kind of like wash our hands of the situation. Like, no, when you said yes to this, you were saying yes to all of this.
Yes. It's so good. That's what I love most about your ministry. I feel like curiosity does kill the cat, or it
Mhm,
gets you in a cycle where you're hoping that you're not at your ninth life yet,
mhm.
because you're trying to explore, you're trying to learn it, and you are taught, just don't do it, just don't do it. Mm, let me just try it. Let me just try it.
Yeah,
And then you try it, and you have an experience that could be, however amazing, however not amazing, and then it's like, okay, what's next? Or you're not really ready to handle the other responsibilities that could come with it or the emotions that come with it. um and I think that's the hard part. If we educated more on that, that helps us to make better decisions. I'm always having conversations with some young ladies, and I say we take longer to buy groceries at the store, picking out the meat in the meat section, than we do of picking out somebody that we're, letting into our body and into our space and things of that sort. So we have to learn
yeah,
priorities and things. And it's not until conversations like sex can wait a while, be like, wait, it can wait a while? Why? Let me listen a little bit more and find out. And as you break it out, it's like, oh, that makes sense. Or
yeah,
I messed up, but now I want to get back on the right track. And I think it's so, so important, even with the young man that reached out, because people
yeah.
don't share for whatever the reason. They don't feel like the parent will understand. They're not sure if the parent will fuss at them. Was it
Mhm.
my fault? And all the different things that come with it. It could be really hard.
Yeah, yeah. And a lot of times people always say, well, if you were in my shoes, some people will never know what it is to be in your shoes.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like sometimes as we grow spiritually and mentally, we don't understand like, yo, look at other people's situation. Think about if you were in, like, think about if that happened to you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it won't be as easy. You know what I'm saying? So I feel
Mm-hmm.
like as we learn, as we grow more, then we start, all right, yo, like, yo, I get it now. And
Right.
then kudos to the person that's getting out. Cause my wife, she be like, yo, look, she's like, yo, like, even though we waited and stuff, she said, yo, you gotta give respect to the people who had sex
Mm-hmm.
and now that's abstaining now for
Mm-hmm.
like, and that has been staying for years.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Because on some measures, you know what it tastes like. It's
Right.
probably not God's way,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Right.
Or for the people who were married, probably got divorced,
Right.
or spouse passed, because that
Mm-hmm.
does happen.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You did everything God's way, and then God calls your spouse home. You know, the testimonies are out there.
Right.
Now you gotta practice abstinence again.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because you're not in the confines of marriage. And it's like, yo, kudos to that person. Like, yo, you know what that experience is like. And now you choose to wait.
Right.
Like, purposely choose to wait.
Purposely.
Like,
Right.
you're being pure on purpose.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's always dope too.
Definitely. Yeah. God bless. Um, why do you think that virginity is such a taboo topic that people feel like they don't want to talk about, or they kind of want to keep a hush, or things of that sort?
I feel like um and this is I don't want to quote her wrong,
Mhm.
but Erica Campbell, I don't know if you saw a video that she recently did. She was on a podcast, and
Mhm.
they brought up like some outfit that she wore like years ago.
Oh. Mhm.
Um, and at at the end of the day, like they were talking about like, whoa, like the gentleman who was talking, he said, yeah, like my sis not really, well, not really, my sis not doing anything wrong, like yo, like what I'm saying, like everything is cool.
Mhm.
And then she was like, she mentioned that the church doesn't want to talk about sexuality,
Mhm.
you know, and that's just period. Like the church doesn't want to talk about sex, and I feel like the church doesn't want to talk about what God created. The church doesn't want to talk about what they struggle with, what they
Mhm.
really enjoy,
Mhm.
uh, whether you enjoying it in the confines of marriage or outside of marriage.
Mhm. Mhm.
You don't want to talk about what you're addicted to.
Mhm.
Um, and you don't want to talk about what you're illegally doing inside
Mhm.
of the church.
Right.
Let's just be honest. We've had I've had guests come and say, "Yo, like I you- I was taken advantage of by a pastor."
Mhm.
These stories are out here, and I
Mhm.
feel like it's so taboo inside and outside is because a lot of times, um, and the crazy thing is you wouldn't think that it would be taboo inside the church, but it's still taboo in the outside world too.
Mhm.
Like, all right, so it's kind of expected that I got the yams,
Mhm.
but it's not expected what happened before, or what life was like before that happened.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
That's kind of weird, and it's just like I feel like again, I'm using the F word. It's just out of fear too.
Mhm.
Because a lot of times people they well, when you gotta test drive the car before you buy it, and it's like, yo, I'm not anybody to be bought. Brandy didn't buy me,
Mm.
and I didn't buy my wife.
Mhm.
I'm not
Right.
a product to be
Right.
bought. You know what I'm saying? Like God created us different.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like we're not food.
Right.
You know, because some of us like we buy food and we devour it.
Mhm.
You devour women. You devour men. Men are out here getting devoured
Mhm.
by women, and now they probably turn into the same sex because of that. And they they um they have this whole opinion
Mhm.
about women now, and that's why they operate with sleeping with multiple women. A
Mm-hmm.
lot of men that sleep with multiple women, they don't trust them.
Mm-hmm.
They always keep women like at arms distance,
Yes.
you know. And those are some of our most hurt men,
Right.
you know.
That's a big one. Definitely have not. And I think it goes back to the education piece, right?
Hmm.
Sometimes we don't have the best examples of what relationships should look like. And then we get into a relationship and we're like, oh, we're doing it right. And then it doesn't work out quite how we thought it would. And then
Yeah,
we respond based on what we think is the best way to do. Oh, she treated me bad. That girl treated me bad again. Three treat me bad. Okay, let me just keep on treating everybody bad. And then
yeah,
we don't realize the patterns that we've created. And we're like, oh, he ain't nothing but a dog. Well, that's because the first sunshine and him didn't quite know what was going on, or vice versa. And they got into a situation they didn't know how to get out of. So now it's like survivor of the fittest.
yes.
Now we're on this island. I gotta conquer, I gotta survive the best way I know how. And then the process to get to where you finally get to that maturity of knowing, oh, that I could have did that better. Oh, it wasn't their fault. I had some stuff I had to deal with. Oh, it was their fault, but I've learned from it, and things of that sort,
Yeah.
because different lessons can be learned from the experiences.
Hmm.
But
Yeah. Look, sis, I totally agree, and it's this thing. It's the thing. Like, it's crazy because I never shared this story with anybody, but it was like this dude, like he does like videography, like he's like known, I guess, well, yeah, he's like known throughout the city. So he
mm-hmm,
called me. He was like he seen me. Um, what did he see me do? He seen me speak at this event. So he reached
mm-hmm,
out to me, like, yo, I want to, want you to come to my studio and like do, talk about your ministry, and like I guess he wanted to create like some kind of advertisement.
mm-hmm.
So I did the thing, and then like he never, yo,
Hmm.
like, what's up with that?
Right.
Because my thing is like to be honest, like yo, like did you waste my time? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, did I just come all the way up there? Like, cause I was on the bus at that point. Like, did I waste bus money
Mm-hmm.
to like come to you? And then it was just like, well, yeah, I'm not about to post it, but I can send you the video if you want it. I'm
Mm-hmm.
like, no, I'm cool. Like,
Yeah.
I guess you were like you found that the testimony was like dope or different,
Mm-hmm.
and you wanted to like, cause sometimes people they just try to capitalize. I'm like, all right, cool. Like,
Right.
well, I'm gonna bring the glory of God everywhere I go. And if
Mm-hmm.
you feel like you need to capitalize on that, all right, whatever. Like I'm just doing like ministry work. But it's kind of like what happened. But now like you kind of doing stuff that like go against
Mm-hmm.
um my beliefs. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So and that's something that I just noticed, like, cause everybody not going to really like be with the movement.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like either way. So, but at the end of the day, like we got to keep pushing. Like, look, all right, God, like there may be some people that waste your time.
Right. You're right. You're right. I think the piece that comes to mind when you said that about the guy doing a video and things, like
Uh-huh.
he believed in what it was you were doing, and then wanted to bring you just to see if it was really, really true. If it was like genuinely your heart, and it was like, no, I can't share that. Why? Because it's unpopular. They're gonna think I'm corny. They're gonna think I'm this. And
Yeah,
sometimes we
probably,
worry
yeah.
about the thoughts of the world and we get jammed up. And reflecting on you, and like in this conversation, I reminded of Noah. Like build this boat. What, build a boat?
Hmm.
Nah, we ain't never had this before. And though they never had it before, because anything is possible in the world, you got to have inkling that anything can happen. Hey, who knew it was going to snow today? It's spring. Snow, we
Hmm.
going. But anything is possible to happen. But he was trying to help the people.
Hmm.
And it's like you building it, you doing what it is that you're told to do. And at the end, those that need to hear it will grab hold. Those that need to get on a boat will get on the boat. And those that don't, sadly do fall by the wayside, but they can't say that they didn't know. They can't say that somebody didn't cry loud so we're not virgin men do exist. They can't say somebody didn't say sex could wait a while. Why can it wait a while? Because sometimes we're not really ready for the heaviness that comes with it, for the other
Yeah,
responsibilities that come with it. And I think if those conversations were held more so than stay away from it, might have been a little bit better. Because even,
yeah,
telling them don't touch the stove, you get burned. Okay. Oh, told you not to touch stove. We had that in us.
yeah, yeah. So look, sis, if you take the word sex, right,
Mm-hmm.
you gotta understand sex is a gift.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and it's a gift when it comes from God, but when it comes to the enemy, it's just like a regular package. You know
Mm.
what I mean? Like it may looks like it's a gift, it may look like it's so precious and stuff like
Mm-hmm.
that,
Mm-hmm.
but you get different results.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Because we only know sex from is either you know sex from God's way or from the enemy's way, and some of
Mm.
us know it from both, and we both know the repercussions or the results
Right.
of who you said yes to that package or that gift from.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? So when it's just like, yo, all right, cool. Like at the end of the day, moral of this is like, yo, watch who you saying yes to. Watch who you
Mm.
taking things from.
Come on. That's it. You did a post. Somebody was asking if you were ready as the baby was coming. He was like, yeah, I've been ready and things like that. So it's like when you go to have sex, you have to be ready for so many different outcomes that can happen. One, get pregnant, STD, broken heart, so many different things that can happen and things of that sort. And sometimes when you're going into things, because there is anything is a possibility of what can happen, are you really ready for any of those possibilities to happen? Are you equipped for it? And sometimes we don't feel like we're equipped for it, but we figure it out as time goes on. But I think that's also a great mindset to have of whatever it is that we're trying to do or exploring in life that we're fearful of doing.
Yeah.
What if it is a yes? What if it is a no? Knowing that anything is possible in what it is that you're doing, just make sure that my belief is that you see God, that you have that clear direction of what it is you should be doing. And thank God for his grace when I do seek him and still do what I want to do, how he looks out for me.
Right.
But really like that piece of being ready for the unexpected,
Yeah.
it's popular to hang out and do all these other things, but unpopular is, staying in the house. Unpopular is protecting yourself, you
Hmm.
know. Um,
Yeah.
but there's so many benefits sometimes in it unpopular.
So many, and to go what you said about the about me being ready. It's funny because I was telling her, but me and I was at dinner on Friday, and I was telling my homie, I said, yo, like I was like when Brandy told me that she got, that she was pregnant, I was like low key like hoping that she wasn't, because when the thought was, because like like her period wasn't coming on, so she
Mm-hmm.
thought it was like just late or whatever, and we like I'm like yeah, like I'm not really ready, in my mind, like yo, like well we didn't plan
Mm-hmm.
for that, have a child already, because
Mm-hmm.
we wanted to be our
Mm-hmm.
mindset. Well, we, what I'm saying, we wanted to enjoy each other
Yeah.
for a minute, right? But
Uh-huh.
here's the reality. Here's the reality, and it's crazy because I preach this all the, I teach this all the time. I had to talk to myself. I was like, dog, bro, you was having sex. What you
Mm-hmm.
mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, what you mean? You not like it be like a lot of couples out here telling myself, yeah, we going, um, somebody commented on one of my posts and was like, well, you guys are pregnant already, or you guys won't waste no time? He said, I thought you guys would still enjoy sex. You got something happens after you have sex.
Yeah.
Babies happen.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's a part of God's plan.
Yeah.
No contraceptive or no condom can
Yeah.
stop God's plan.
Right.
Right.
Bless their hearts. They gotta go to sex education class a little bit more. Uh, it's a possibility that can happen. And things of that sort. Bless their hearts. But yeah, sometimes just being ready for whatever that unpopular is, the weight that comes with it, being ready
Yes.
for what you're walking into. It is fearful. It is scary. But you can do it.
Yeah.
You have some merch, and I like your merch. One of the things says more than just a smash. How did that come about? What is that? More than just a
Oh
smash.
man. More than just a smash came from what do I think about that? I Because I used to talk about use a hashtag um more than just a sex talk,
Mm-hmm.
and more just a smash came from like, all right, yo, like I'm more than just an idea of sex.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of times, smash is like slang for sex. So it's just like, yo, like I'm more than sex. I'm more than just a smash. Like you're gonna value me um more than just that idea, you know. When God create man, like, was he thinking of like what he was he thinking about like, yeah, when they start doing it,
Mm-hmm.
like no, like like you're not a product um of that, because if you think about it, there are a lot of people who won't get married, who
Mm-hmm.
won't ever have sex. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? Like I know a lot of people of ages who are content and where they are,
Mm-hmm.
you know. So, and it's just like, look, like that marriage ministry, the gift of marriage isn't for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
And and a lot of times people, we only have the idea of of like just to have sex. But
Mm-hmm.
you understand, it's like, yo, like, all right, cool, you want to have sex, but now you got to ask God, like, yo, is it in God's plan for you to be married? And then that's spiritual growth on when, all right, yo, it's either, look, like I gotta accept God's plan for me,
Right.
whatever that plan is.
Right.
You know what
Right.
I'm saying? And yeah, so we're just a smash, look, like I'm more than just sex.
I like that. Based on that principle of knowing your worth, and sometimes we're so quick to get caught up in something,
Mhm.
and the other person doesn't see the value of who you are, and then you feel like, was I not then that worthy? Was I not that diamond? Was I not
Yeah.
that ruby? And sometimes they say like it takes heartbreak to find true love and things of that sort, and that's not how the way you want it to go. The hope is that you don't have to go through heartbreak, because that could be um that could tear you down a little bit. It's overwhelming. It's not how you wanted it to go. A heartbreak, I didn't even realize my heart was broken until a couple of weeks after the situation. I was like, wait, what?
Mm,
Because it has that residual effect and things of that sort. But knowing that you are more than, whatever it is they're trying to put on you, knowing that you are worth it. I think
mhm.
that's really, really important.
Yes, ma'am. Exactly.
One you have that's funny is Adam and Eve were virgins too, but nobody saw that sex tape. What? How did this one come about?
So that one, it was like a joke, but not really a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Like I was like in my word one day, and I was just thinking about. I said, yo, like everybody was talking, and this is me in the middle of ministry. Like I'm talking about virgin men do exist, virgin women do exist.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going live with different people who are virgins and stuff like that, people that waited, and
Mm-hmm.
we talking about abstinence, celibacy, and purity. And then one day, um, I'm thinking, I'm like, yo, I'm reading my word. I say, yo, like Adam and Eve were virgins too, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody saw that sex tape. Like, was nobody there? So it
Mm-hmm.
was kind of like a joke.
Mm-hmm.
Um, because what probably the an the animals in the trees and God, you know what I mean? But it wasn't a porn, like
Right, right.
um, and it was just like, look, like the whole idea of that was like, yo, they were virgins too.
Mm-hmm.
Like, here's the thing: a lot of people that clown virgins, what life was like when you were a virgin?
Mm-hmm.
Was life like, was losing virginity the goal?
Mm-hmm.
Because I say, like, look, like I don't lose anything. I didn't lose my virginity with my wife. I
Mm-hmm.
didn't lose anything. She didn't lose her virginity. She didn't lose anything. It was a gain, and it was an exchange.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? You don't lose virginity. You
Right.
lose virginity when you do it not God's way. That's when
Mm-hmm.
you lose it. But when it is God's way, it's a gain and it's an exchange. You know what I'm saying? Like marriage, you go to, you look, like you say yes to the ministry. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like what happens after you get married? You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
Someone's like, yeah, well, the goal, literally, our mindset be the goal of sex. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, Adam and Eve were virgins too, and I feel like I wanted to come from a different, like, reach to a different perspective
Mm-hmm.
of fat.
Mm-hmm.
Because before anybody had sex, you were a virgin.
Right. You're right.
Like before
And
you
it
did
wasn't
it, you did
until
not do it.
God brought Eve to Adam. So sometimes it's really waiting for your queen, your king to come to you. And sometimes we feel like, oh no, that's the one I had a dream. Or I just, talk to my spiritual advisor. And sometimes, and I'm saying spiritual advisor now isn't like a pastor and things like that. Sometimes
Mhm.
people go to psychics and things.
Right.
I was watching Married at First Sight. And she's like, yeah, that's my advisor told me that he was gonna be this, and that's not who he was. And she was upset because she had her expectations set for something that really wasn't for her and things of that sort. And granted, some of them do work and operate where they know things, but it's just best to know that it's God directly that's telling you instead of some other spirits because they get a little funky and things of that sort. We can talk about that more if you like. Let me know, friends.
We did. Look,
It
it's crazy. It's
is.
just crazy. That's witchcraft. You know what I mean? Like
Right. Right. Another one you had was friendship, courtship, marriage, sex. Let's talk about each level of that. Why is friendship so important? And why is that
friendship is
first?
mhm. Friendship is so important because friendship is like always forgotten about. Um, and I remember me and Brandy was talking about, all right, because even before friendship, we made it was like, well, we was talking about cool shit.
Mm. Tell me
Like,
more. What's
you
cool?
know, yeah, like some of y'all like not even cool with the people that y'all sleeping with. Like you're like literally you're not cool. Like
Wow.
y'all not cool. Like it's just y'all here for one thing. Y'all
Wow.
think y'all cool, but y'all not.
Mm.
But friendship should happen organically. And I feel like Jonathan and David modeled like an
Yeah.
awesome friendship. No, they were not gay because some
Mm-hmm.
people kind of like to think that.
Mm-hmm.
No, like they were best friends,
Yeah.
and people need to understand what a friend does
Mm-hmm.
and what that title means, right? Yes, friends won't be always be there, but friends do have your back.
Mm-hmm.
You like your friends.
Yes.
You actually like your friends. You want your friends to be around. You
Yes.
want your friends to be places when you hit different milestones in your life. Those are great friends. You know what I mean? And so friendship is always is always something. I mean, I was reading something one day, and they say, "Yo, like, look, like if you wanna know, um, if you wanna know what a friend is, ask your kid, like, ask your child, ask a 5-year-old what a friend is."
Wow.
And some of us adults need to be reminded
Mm-hmm.
of what a real friend is.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so yeah, it's something it's something that's forgot about. We all are familiar with friendship is.
Mm-hmm.
It's a bond. It's a covenant with somebody else,
Right. Right.
with another human being. So what kind of covenants that doesn't involve you wanting something? Because sometimes friendships are just somebody just pouring into you, and it escalated to something beautiful
Mm-hmm.
that nobody's being taken advantage of.
Mm-hmm.
That's what friendship is.
Right.
You know, and it's you don't see anything else about that person except for their heart.
Mm-hmm.
Like their beauty ain't blinding you from their heart. You
Mm-hmm.
know, especially for the opposite sex friends. Some of us we see beauty, we say that's our friend, but we attracted or
Mm-hmm.
handsome, and we attracted, but we don't see their heart.
Mm. Mm, that's good. Come on. Jeremiah is like this wealth of knowledge. He sits down, he has like good wisdom that flows out of him. And just be talking, just be talking. Always good conversations. So the next level is courtship. What's that? And why is it important?
Yes. So, in a nutshell, courtship is the attention, with marriage. I'm sorry. Courtship is the attention to marriage.
Mm-hmm.
The intention to marry somebody.
Mm-hmm.
No, I did not date my wife. I don't believe in dating. It's not biblical.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that God called anybody to be anybody's boyfriend.
Mm-hmm.
I don't believe that God called anybody to be anybody's girlfriend. I
Mm-hmm.
went live with a gentleman the other day, and his name is Jarrell Flowers. He's a Christian hip hop rapper,
Mm-hmm.
and
Yes, that was a good one.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he was so on one. He said the only woman that he dated was his wife, and that was the person he married.
Mm-hmm.
That was the person that he married. Like, so it's not even like that he had to really dodge a lot of bullets, but it
Mm-hmm.
was like the person that he chose to date was his wife. You know what I mean? And it's like I believe in courtship because it makes sense. It helps you um um get straight to the point. You know what I mean? And not just courtship, but kingdom courtship because you can And shout out again to Kingdom Courtship, because your courtship has to be kingdom.
Right.
Well, I would like for it to be kingdom if you are a Christian. If you're
Mhm.
not a believer and you're courting, then it can't be kingdom.
Right.
Christ is not included, right? But it is one of the best ways. I feel like the best way to include God in a relationship,
Mhm.
and for believers to make it to the altar without falling,
Mhm.
because there's boundaries, there's accountability too.
Right.
You know, there's purity. It's steps to it. You know what I'm saying? It's people that you got involved in that thing. It's certain things that you're doing that won't be that's like, it's not a synonym to dating at
Mhm.
all.
Mhm.
You know, and it's not made up. It's one
Right.
definition for it,
Right.
one goal.
Marriage.
You know,
I think a lot of couples sometimes, because they do get caught up in the dating, and sometimes they're like, yeah, we dating, and it's been some years and things of that sort, and one of the people in the relationship becomes like frustrated because they do want marriage. And I think if sometimes unpopular, if people maybe put it as courtship instead of that dating, then they'll know exactly where they're going. Because sometimes they get into the dating world and they're dating for 19 years, 20 years, 25 years, and then somebody's like, oh, that was a long time. Oh, she should have left, he should have left, and things of that sort. But
mhm,
one, if that's what works for them, great, because maybe they do just have that friendship, and it's not quite courtship because they don't want to be married, and it's like in between and things of that sort. Whatever it is that works for you.
yeah,
But sometimes if you bring that up, like, so I'm recording, they be like, what? And then you gotta have a whole educational session. Let me tell you my friend Jeremiah, and just put on a video where he's talking about courtship and things of that sort, or the Salim and Raisha, and break down what it is. But like, oh no, we ain't doing it. Then right away, is it something you want to stay in, or is it something you want to leave out from? And sometimes
right.
having those clear definitions helps us to know if we want to stay in the situations we're in or not.
Yeah, and you know what? Here's the thing: you gotta draw that line though, like,
Mm-hmm.
because y'all want marriage benefits inside of dating though.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. You know what I mean? Like you want, and dating is just an appointment with somebody. That's it. Like this is a date.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, look,
Right.
oh, bro, March 28th, you available for this time?
Mm-hmm.
Boom. That's how simple. That's how
Right.
simple it is. Breaking it
Mm-hmm.
all the way down.
Right.
A lot of times, people they be like, yeah, like, well, you became possessive in dating. Like, you mentally created covenant. You sexually created it now too, just
Mm-hmm.
out of the minds of dating.
Right.
And all y'all was supposed to be doing was just dating. But
Mm-hmm.
no, you call it dating, but y'all doing way more than that. Y'all
Right.
not just dating.
Mm.
You know what I'm saying? You doing joint accounts ain't just dating. I don't know what it is I'm gonna say that's confusion,
Right.
right? You know what I mean? So it's an interesting
Yeah. You definitely gotta be careful because
thing.
in that too, like your emotions, your feelings, your thoughts get involved. And like what
Hmm.
you thought was something just light, it's like, no, because if he leaves me, if she leaves me, I'm gonna be like, what am I gonna do myself? Because it's a little bit more involved than what you initially thought. So really being honest with yourself and communicating to the other person, what do we have going on? What's going on? Let's clarify what this is so I know what we're in and can
Yeah.
guard my feelings a little bit better. Which reminds me of, I want to get to the other parts of that of line you have of love smart, you know,
Yes.
because it's important. I wore it to event. They was like, it's something about this shirt because you need to love smart. You ain't loving
Yeah.
smart. The shirt is made, not a minister. But it's so important because we don't do that. You
Hmm.
know, we don't follow the golden rule. Treat others as we want to be treated.
Yeah.
Follow
It's
loving smart.
um I went to, and this is crazy because the love smart idea was already like it was already literally like I already had my graphic designer finish like one of the first designs, but I ended up changing it.
Mm-hmm.
It was a brain and it was a heart
Yes.
put together, and it was crazy because when I went to a Kingdom Courtship conference, the one that we went to in Virginia a couple years ago, and Salim had this picture of this heart riding a bike,
Mm.
like the heart was steering the bike and the brain was in the back of the bike. And
Mm.
then he said, wherever your heart goes, bring your brain with you.
Mm.
And a lot of times, if you think about it, it's like, yo, like, yeah,
Mm.
where my heart goes, bring my mind with us. And it kind of gets like if you were in any kind of relationship that did not lead to marriage,
Mm-hmm.
if you're not married now, you got to think about it. Did you bring your brain with you?
Mm-hmm.
You clearly didn't. If you know what I'm saying, you
Mm-hmm.
clearly didn't. If it did not lead to marriage, but also, did you bring the Holy Spirit with you too?
Mm-hmm.
Cause all right, cool. Like we may have our heart, our brain, not God.
Mm-hmm.
Literally shutting him out.
Yeah, I think too. So I even say like the last relationship I was in, I think in a moment you feel like your brain is there, you feel like it could be there, but I think also it was a time of exploration, trying to like see, is this what I should be in, is it not what I should be in, so really paying attention. So it's almost like really like the friendship stages of it, right? So
Mhm.
you're friends with the person, you're like you're hoping, you're hanging out, doing different things, and then stuff starts to happen because like it was like this whole season of these red flags and they was dropping and sometimes people pick them up like, no, this is gonna help you find my house, y'all need these, no, we need to let them go. But it was some things that started to happen, and after a while I was like, God, is this something for me to be in or is it not? And he told me to just be quiet and watch. And as I
Mhm.
was quiet and I watched, I knew that it wasn't ready to go to any other stages and things of that sort. um
Mhm.
It's heartbreaking, yeah, because you invest so much time, even if
Yeah.
it's not quite the courtship. Sometimes it is that friendship that's on the verge of possibly being something more. And I think like you do have your brain there, but I just think we need to learn how to take that moment to pause. Earlier we talked about in this month we talked about looking in the mirror, really exploring: is this something that's going to be beneficial for my life? Is it going to add to my life? Is it going to multiply to my life, or is it
Mhm.
going to take away? Now, some things do need to be taken away from our lives, but if it's taken away our confidence, our motivation, our strength, and we're like just feeling like nothing, balled up in a corner, that ain't
Yeah.
what we need to be in. And I think that's the part that we have to learn of. We'll take our brain, but are we listening to it? Or are we
Mhm.
listening more to that heart? And that heart is fickle too. Because
Yeah.
today I love riding around the street. And then later on today I don't because that gas is expensive. You know, it's fickle. But really just having those parts of being honest with ourselves and exploring what is going on and if we want to stay in it or not stay in it, but also seeking our higher power, whoever it is that you believe in, to know if this is something we should be in or not.
Look, right. Look. You know, I, I totally agree. Like it's a it's it's something that look like you only gonna get one kind of response to. And like look I've said this plenty of times. Like look, the Lord not gonna give you a red flag at the last minute.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm,
A lot of times we may ask him for clarity, like it's like, all right, cool. Like, should you, like I should have went to God when I first was started. Like, yo, all right, cool. I want to check these feelings, and you know what I mean. Like I just want to check. But God, you let me know what I need to do because sometimes like how we feel, our emotions can be overbearing. And we just like, oh, I know I need to do this to just to see. Like, well, you can know right now if this is marriage or not. You
yeah,
know, God, if you ask God, He will show you because He's not playing with His covenants,
yeah.
and He He didn't come up with the idea of heartbreak. Like that wasn't His intention.
That was nice tension. You know, I it reminds me of a hymn, one of my favorite hymns. Oh, what peace we often forfeit.
Hmm.
Oh, what needless pain we bear. All because we do not carry everything to God in prayer. It talks about what a friend we have in Jesus. You know, we friends, we friends. But it's sometimes that we carry some things that we don't have to carry. It's sometimes that we are in some pain that we don't have because the Bible says the blessings of the Lord make one rich and add of no sorrow. Oops.
Yes.
So therefore, if it's adding sorrow, maybe this ain't right. If
Yeah.
I'm uncomfortable, maybe this ain't right. If that shoe ain't fitting right, we need to get a bigger size. So it's time to move. It's time to upgrade. And
Yeah.
sometimes we get so comfortable because, but these are my go-tos.
Hmm.
It's time to let some of those things go. And we really just have to be able to have that moment to really consult so that we don't have to forfeit things we don't need to forfeit.
Hmm. No, that's totally, that's facts. That's
Mm.
facts.
So the other half was marriage and sex. So it's friendship, excuse me, courtship, marriage, sex.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the other half.
Yeah, so marriage is covenant, you know.
Mm-hmm.
By this time, you know, well, basically because the whole shirt is this is the order of what it should be like,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Mm-hmm.
in that order.
Right.
You know, you will want this to be in that order for your best interest, for God's
Right.
best interest,
Right.
His order.
Right.
So, marriage is the covenant. You know, like you saying yes, like you know this person is going to be your your spouse. You know what I'm saying? You saying yes to this ministry.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, a lot of times we don't know, like yo, we don't know once that we are literally physically together,
Right.
that yo, we are saying yes to this ministry. And some people, telling you, said some people think that they just get married and that's it. Why? Like why? You guys are put together and made one for a reason.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Ministry need to be done. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? So now you gotta go out and set an example.
Right.
You know?
Because the
You
Bible says
know?
two is better than one. So when y'all came together, y'all now the force to be reckoned with. Y'all got to make some noise in this earth. You know, you got to make some things
Look,
happen.
you know what I mean? So and because a lot of people they will use that scripture, right? And try to compare that to like singleness too. We're like, well, I like try to use that as an excuse of why they shouldn't be single. And it's like, no, like if that's God's plan for you, then that need to be your plan. You know
Right.
what I mean?
Right.
And in this sense, they will be equal. You know what I mean? Because God
Right.
not gonna do the comparison thing. You know, um, but yeah, marriage, it's a beautiful thing, and there are things that you're obligated to, and
Mm-hmm.
that you can benefit from, in marriage that don't have nothing to do uh, with sex. You know, and those are some things that God's still trying to show marriages or what they can actually do or what
Right.
they're available to.
Right.
That's
That's
marriage.
true. When you say that about the singles and things of that sort, be like, well, the Bible say, yeah, it does say that. But if you can't get along with other people, you can't even get along with yourself, sis, bruh, stay single just a little while longer. You ain't ready.
And
Because it's not
then
about you. It's a new level of sacrifice over there.
be asking why. So my sis is crazy, and I know a lot of people will disagree with me, but I don't care. And a lot of times we gotta stop letting the thing ride of, well, I'm gonna let them do what they do. Like that's what they believe in. Like no, I don't care. I don't care. I'm gonna still keep preaching. Because like when we she said, bro, she was honestly saying, bro, I really thought that I was gonna lose you as a friend when you got married. Now think about it. No attraction or nothing like that. We're friends. I have a lot of
Mm-hmm.
female friends. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Jen, you know, because you're one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, and I was like, I didn't ask her why at the beginning of the live, but when she brought up again, I was like, sis, why did you think that? And she
Mm-hmm.
said, because that's what happened to all my other guy friends I had. It was literally like a cycle of them getting married and they stopped talking to me.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just like the thing of, all right, cool. You got to understand. Like, I want you guys to understand. It's like, yo, like, all right, cool. Who did you marry
Mm-hmm.
that's insecure and that
Mm-hmm.
has a trust issue? Who did you marry um that's not being like, you gotta understand, like, how can we do ministry? How can I do anything and not interact with women? Because some people do be on like just
Right.
all the do phone. Who
Mm-hmm.
that? Who this? Like,
Mm-hmm.
first of all, and I love, remember when Jarrell said, he said, yo, who were they trusting?
Yeah.
Because if you trusted God for that covenant, why is there a trust issue?
Mm.
Make it make sense.
Right.
You know why? Because a lot of times when people get married, y'all got married from the cheated relationship. You
Mm.
were the cheatee.
Mm.
Y'all married each other.
Whew.
You know what I'm saying? Like when y'all found each other, y'all weren't faithful.
Mm.
So now,
Let's
of
go through
course,
it.
they can't have opposite sex friends. Can't both of them have opposite sex friends? But
Mm.
my thing is, men need men and women need women need women because there are some wives and some um I haven't heard with a man really complaining about um uh his wife always hanging out with her girlfriends,
Mm-hmm.
you know, but it's an issue. It's an issue with with men out with his friends, and it's like, look, if he got the right friends,
Mm-hmm.
he should have friends where you call if he tripping,
Mm-hmm.
and you like look like you led the tell like, yo, I want you to tell him, make this make sense for him,
Yes.
and you know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like those should be the relationships.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yo, bro, like your wife called me and told me that situation, like you out
Mm-hmm.
of line. And
Mm-hmm.
it's not like she did anything dirty. Y'all friends for a reason.
For a reason. And
Y'all
how
friends
you
for a reason.
do
And it's not like, yo, what you doing calling my wife
it?
or
Mm-hmm.
my wife? No, it's not like that. No,
Mm-hmm.
no,
Mm-hmm.
no. Mm-mm. You know why? Because we gotta change the narrative of how God intended it to.
Mm-hmm.
We gotta change the narrative back to how God wanted it.
Right.
Stop tripping, man. Relax. Like, cause then y'all be afraid. And when y'all do make somebody, when y'all make somebody who is an awesome friend to you, now you think that person you treat them like an alien.
Mm-hmm.
You treat them like they're not really a real person or they trying to be fake.
Mm-hmm.
No, they're doing what God called them to do.
Right. Now again, it's definitely having discernment because unpopular opinion. Kara Sheard recently had, but they what happened was she said something and they took a snippet, but they didn't have the whole piece of what it was that she said. And
Clearly.
what she was saying was like having discernment for her household to know if you can really stay in my house or if you can't stay in my house, because we do know that the enemy comes to still kill and destroy, and sometimes it sneaks up in there, and you have to cut it at the head so it doesn't go any further. So
Mhm.
having discernment, using your brain and your heart, to know what is good for your situation, but I think in your predicament and many others, sometimes your personality, your ministry, what it is that you do causes others to gravitate to you. But if you're confident in what you're doing and you're confident in the relationship that you're in, it ain't nothing crazy going on. And your wife is there too, just to cover, to know like, watch her. Or you might say, watch him, because the enemy still is going to try and sneak in, you
Oh
know?
yeah, always. And look, like that's life. That's
Right,
life. I'm gonna
right.
keep it a being, sis. Look, I had more solid I had more solid friendships than I had not solid.
Mm-hmm.
Than I had not solid.
Mm-hmm.
And that's men and women.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like we're rep. Like it really blessed me. When you're a giver and you
Mm-hmm.
get people that give to you,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes it's like it's a little like it's mentally sometimes I be like it's hard for me to receive. I am gonna receive it, but
Mm-hmm.
I'm so used to giving.
Mm-hmm.
My wife bought me some gifts the other day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, I brought it up to her, and she was like, "Yeah, I know." She was like, "Yeah, I know. You be acting all weird, all right?" So, because I'm not expecting nothing. I'm not
Mhm.
expecting nothing, but I do. I love my wife for that, for seeing like, yo, like you always giving. So you know what I'm saying? Like that she
Yeah.
sees that
Yes.
and like and knows that. And when we were in the hospital, when we were it was like our second day in the hospital.
Mhm.
Um, uh somebody it was one of my good friends, I met her at the second Wee event,
Mhm.
and she been in my corner since.
Mhm.
um and she hit me up. She was like, yo bro, like I want to buy y'all something to eat. And so she bought her something to eat and had us food sent like to the hospital.
Mhm.
That was so major for me.
Mhm.
That was so major for me. Like I'm like, yo, I got good people in my corner.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? And I'm telling you, it's a blessing when you are nice to people.
It is.
You know what I mean?
It is.
People, there are going to be more people that got your back than people that's trying to destroy something. I'm telling y'all.
Mm.
Y'all, and look, and I don't want people to think, like, if you think people just after your marriage, after your man, like, yo, after your woman, like, yo, like, they don't, they probably think they're ugly. Like you gotta understand that. Like they're not attracted to them. You know what I'm saying? Like you gotta understand. It's like yo, like I don't want people to get stuck in that mindset. Like
Mhm.
like everybody not out to get you.
Right.
You know, like that's the real reality.
That is the reality. Everybody's not out to get you. And sometimes we get caught up in that. We got to be careful.
Hmm.
We got to get careful. It was like, no, because I remember when I was. That doesn't mean that, even when you was doing it, didn't mean that you were going to act on those things. And it doesn't mean that it was going to go anywhere. But we have to be careful of that mindset. Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's funny. So we talked about your book, Virgin Men Do Exist. You've been doing some amazing things. Your next venture, well, not next venture, but another thing that you're working on is Philadelphia Christian Fashion Week.
yes, ma'am.
Kudos to that. Jeremiah, you have tapped into an untapped area of the world right now. And it is just blossoming and blooming. Like people are like running to see how they could be a part and wanting to see what it is that you're doing. But Philadelphia Christian Fashion Week, put some respect on a Christian. I know how I like the Christian. I got it. How did that
Yes,
come about and why?
saw that post.
Yes.
Thank you.
How did they come about though? Like what made
Oh,
you start a Christian
look,
Fashion Week?
shout out to my bro, Arthur Burgess. So one day when I was talking, I was telling him about the idea of Adam and Eve were virgins too, but
Mm-hmm.
nobody saw that sex tape, right? I called him and I told him, I said, yo, even though I got this shirt, but I said I wanna run on with this Adam and Eve look.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so this big vision came. I want we wanted to tell a love story, Adam and Eve, because I was like, yo, bro, I really want to run with this Adam and Eve situation. Like Adam and Eve gotta be black, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And we gonna do it right.
Yes.
And Arthur, the minister Arthur Burgess, he been in the fashion industry for 19 years.
Mm-hmm.
He wasn't doing it for God.
Mm-hmm.
So when he started doing for God was with when he got connected with me with
Mm-hmm.
this whole idea because he knew me for such a while and we was already cool.
Right.
I would have him come to my fashion shoots,
Mm-hmm.
to my photo shoots and stuff, and he would give us like different positions and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
But and this is me like really started like to really get to know him. Like, yo, you really a fashion dude. Like, you really
Right.
like
Right.
a whole instructor. Like, you do fashion shows for real. So we started with the Adam and Eve collection. He told me, he said, bro, give me the clothing. I'll handle everything else.
Mm-hmm.
Next thing later, we're doing Sets Can Wait a While model casting call.
Yes.
And mad people come out to the casting call.
Mm-hmm.
Cause it's like, yo, what's Sets Can Wait a While up to next? Like,
Mm-hmm.
and it's just like people come out to the casting call. I never done a casting call before. Him and my sis, Shanilla, Cox from Delaware.
Mm-hmm.
Shout out to Tours Creations. I met her when I was hosting a Christian fashion show.
Okay.
It was at like some venue out in Milford, Delaware. Shout out to Crystal Meganson for giving
Mm-hmm.
me the opportunity. Um, so we went out there. Well, no, so we did the joint, and we getting ready for Seskin Wait a While's Adam and Eve collection.
Mm-hmm.
Philadelphia Christian Fashion Week wasn't really talked about. It wasn't. But as we're talking, we like, yo, trying to do Philadelphia Christian Fashion Week.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, all right. So, and then like, was like, we gonna do it, then we gonna do it. So I'm like, all right, cool. You know what I mean? Because his whole testimony with doing it not for God, even training the models for Adam and Eve collection,
Mm-hmm.
it was some things that he learned in the world. He had to he couldn't take that here because the fashion industry is a perverted industry.
Mm-hmm.
So the things he was calling the models and saying to them, like he's saved now, so he can't do that. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
So he would say he was learning a lot. It was one thing that we would do like meditation, whatever. Like we'll put on worship music and we'll
Mm-hmm.
ask how everybody day going, and like basically we'll minister everybody that's in the line.
Yes.
That's how we start off our fashion rehearsals.
Mm-hmm.
And we talked about when the Adam and Eve collection was coming to a close, like we were up to do like the big video, like to do the video shoot.
Mm-hmm.
Um, we were already planning Philadelphia Christian Fashion Week, and we was like, all right, we're gonna make the announcement for Philadelphia Christian Fashion Week after we launched Adam and Eve collection. So we actually did it that night at that launch party.
Mm-hmm.
We like, cause I was like, yo, bro, let's wait. He was like, no, bro, trust God, bro. I'm like, oh my gosh, here you go. I'm like, all right, cool. Well, I'm gonna trust him. And then
Right.
we announced it. It wasn't anything like people like. See, here's the thing. And what I'm learning is a lot of people not like, I don't know, some people, I can't make an assumption for everybody.
Mm-hmm.
But I know when we filled that room, people started hitting us up.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of like we gonna wait to see what happens. Now, granted, there was a lot of people who didn't know who we were, didn't know who I was, didn't know who Arthur was.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? People know me for sex can wait a while, but you get different crowds for different things.
Right. Right.
You know? So it was interesting. It was interesting. So that's how Philadelphia Christian Fashion Week happened. They like the whole idea of it.
So let me toot his horn a little bit because I had the pleasure of going to the first Philadelphia Christian Fashion Week. It was amazing. One, walking in, there's so many vendors there. Everybody was just so excited to be there. It was a packed full house. It was some children and some adults, and just seeing their different styles. I loved how it was like a worship segment because it was a live band as the models were walking down, and there was like a little worship moment. It was like just a great vibe and experience and something for Christians to do. I think sometimes as a Christian, you feel like, can I go to that party? Can I go to this? And it's not that you can't go to those events, but it's nothing like going to like a Christian hangout type party where it's
Yeah.
really you with other people that love Jesus, that loves the fashion world, and you can meet people, interact with people, and it's not like cool. It was pretty cool, and I really do shout out. It was like amazing. I'm also going to share because they have another one coming up in June 26th.
Yes, June
Oh, and
26th.
that's from memory. I'm the bomb.com. I'm a good
Yeah.
friend.
It's,
So y'all, I want to share with y'all because it's such a great event. I was sharing with young people who I know were interested in modeling. I'm not sure if they did go. If they didn't go, they can't say they didn't know about an opportunity. But it's so amazing because you are shining the light again. You are tapping a spot that wasn't tapped before, and you're opening up, and so many people are excited and running to it because like this is what I was waiting for. This is where I feel accepted. This is where I feel I need to be. I think that's another reason why I like your platform so much. With the guy that was on the other night, I appreciate the transparency that he had of sharing, what his thoughts was that his wife had, dated other people before him and things like that. That's really
that
good.
was crazy. That was
Yeah,
crazy.
and I think it's so good because in those conversations, other men and women get to hear that. And we sometimes don't hear that all the time, but that part. Another time I remember I was watching a guy was like apologizing. It's like, wait, what is he even apologize for? We ain't even did that's what apologize. But he was apologizing because there was times that he realized in that conversation that he should have spoke up on some things that you were bold enough to speak up on. It's like, wait, I could be making a difference too. I might not have the same platform that Jeremiah has, but I still have people around me that are listening to me, that are valuing what I'm saying, that are looking up to me, and I can still be that light for them. And I think it's so amazing the impact that you're making. So again, kudos to you, Jeremiah.
Thank you. That was actually my guy Celis Hamilton. He's actually a Christian hip hop artist as well.
Oh, a lot of this about,
Yeah.
Another thing I was watching one time, and the guy said Jesus. He said Jesus more time than your favorite Christian artist. I said, yo.
Oh yeah.
Unpopular opinion, but possibly true.
Yeah.
Good. This is so good. Again, I'm so excited for the things that you have coming up. What's next for Jeremiah?
September 25th. All right, so I'm gonna tell you. I'm gonna tell everybody that's watching. September 25th, Seskin With a Wild presents Hey Bro, you are worth the wait too. When we did A Man's God to the Altar,
that was good.
Thank you for tuning in, sis. When we did that event, when we did that 5-day series, my heart has always been for the men. And I know our ministry pulls in a lot of women, but I know everybody else's ministry pulls in a lot of women. So if I was to stop giving relationship advice to women or advice to women, period, I'll be okay with it because I know my focus will be on the men. You know, um, and clearly, like I'm not gonna stop, but I'm gonna go. I want this event to let brothers know, hey, bro, you're worth the wait too. There are a lot of men who haven't had the chance or the idea to even think about their own worth. For example, I had dinner with my homie last weekend, and he said, happy wife, happy life, and I corrected him. I said, happy spouse, happy house, and his friend was like, yeah, and we are so culturally minded or culturally pottered and crafted in our minds to always please women. So and always please the woman in a relationship that we forget ourselves. But I feel like if anybody's going to remind a man about his worth, no longer needs to come from women, but it needs to come from men. There are a lot of women with a lot of dope videos that men will share talking about, hey, king, hey, black man, I love you. And that's great.
Right.
That's great. I'm not downplaying that at all. That's awesome. But when is the last time you seen that come from a man? Men need men and women need women.
Right.
And hey, bro, you're worth the wait too. It's gonna be crazy. I was gonna do I was gonna do invitation only, but and I'm gonna invite mad people. Like I'm gonna invite mad brothers. Like here's the thing: a lot of people will be like, "Oh, ain't no brothers." No, you get on the phone with these men that you know,
Yes.
and you call them, and
Yes.
I'm gonna be like, "Yo, I need you there.
Yes.
I need you there." Period.
That's
Married
so
men,
needed.
single
That's
men,
so
it's
needed.
gonna be dope. It's gonna be some women there too. You know what I mean? But look, like um, I'm gonna open it up to the public. Uh, but it's gonna be some heavy hitters there, and that's gonna be like a photo because that's actually I'm doing another line called "Hey bro, you're worth the wait too," and
Yes.
that stuff is gonna be bonkers.
I believe it. I believe it. I'm excited for it. I think that's so important for the men. I think women, we're so quick to have gatherings and get-togethers. Um, but for the men to hear from the men, it's somebody on Instagram, and it's not until I start watching it I realize why I don't like watching her lives. Because she'll have a guy on, but she's not listening to the guy. You
Oh
know,
wow,
she's I she she sometimes over talks to me and things of that sort, and I get frustrated by that because I say I know what the female's gonna think because I know what my mind's always thinking. I want to hear from the male's perspective, and
yeah,
sometimes being able to hear from the male's perspective is so important, and sometimes it gets shunned to the side. And I think it's so important for, as you said, men to hear other men to hear that you're not the only one going through. Because we
yeah,
have a lot of men that didn't have their fathers around, they didn't have their uncle around, they didn't have their older brother around to be able to help and guide them in some areas. So I think that's going to be so amazing. Another shout out to you. Last year I think we were on at the same conference and things of that sort. And
yes,
I sat in for a little while on your table talk. And I'm again, you just sit there and it's like something coming out. It's like that wisdom, and it's so amazing of just the whole panel in itself. And I mean, you can hear from different people and you formulate your opinions and things of that sort. I'm always paying attention to people's side here. Okay, all right, I hear you, but okay, are you really living that? You just talking it? I don't know. I don't know.
right,
But to be able to hear people from their heart really speak of some things to really help somebody else, and for
mhm,
your heart to be able to help that other person and calling a spade a spade. I did this, I didn't do that, or I'm currently doing this, but I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you what you should be doing. Whatever it is,
yeah.
being able to empower somebody else is so, so important. And I think that's going to be amazing. I'm excited to hear about it. Here's for the men. I'll share with all the brothers that I know, sisters, mothers, aunts, senior nephews, nieces, brothers, sons, cousins, and them. Because why? Something has to be done in the city. A lot of things are happening. So if we can reach one, teach one, help one, let us do that. Okay, friends? That's going to be good. That's going to be good.
Yeah.
September. Mm,
September 25th. I'm excited, sis.
as you should be.
I'm reaching out to guys. Like, this is one dude. I was like, yo, like, I need like a black male therapist.
Hmm.
one dude I googled, dude named Ryan.
Mm-hmm.
He and I forgot I called him and left a message. He called me one day and I was like, "Yo, I forgot I called you." Like
Mm-hmm.
he said, "Yo, man, look, man, when I knew you about to have a baby, blah blah blah." He said, "Look, you know, let's have lunch." Like, and I was just so thankful for the 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 connection, and then that's just only only the beginning. So this is gonna be like a worship night, photo, video, and like uh shoot night too. And it's gonna be dope. I
Right.
want things to be different,
Mm-hmm.
things to happen like yo, this event was weird, but I loved it
Mm-hmm.
because it's gonna be weird because it was just like unpopular, you
Right.
know. Um I'll have gear there for people to buy.
Mm-hmm.
I may still have some Love Smart gear by that time, but I'm
Mm-hmm.
hoping because I'm literally launching a new like launching some new stuff for Love Smart in a couple weeks.
Very nice.
So
Hey,
um
friends, he was trying to take all my little coins and things.
this stuff about to be you gonna snap when this
That's
stuff
what I'm
come out.
saying. And I want to support because I enjoy it. I like the message that it sends. I like, to be able to share that. And it's a conversation starter. It's like, wait, what? And you
Yeah,
get to share with somebody.
yeah. It's gonna be dope. And I got some Sescon Widow stuff coming out. So it's this this um I recreated the weight as one design.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I'm gonna show you that junk gonna be dope. You gonna
Very
see.
nice. I'm not going to show y'all friends because my friend will let me know. And then I let you know when it's released so you can buy yours after I get mine.
Oh, there.
Jeremiah, what's something you want us to walk away with?
Look, don't be afraid. How long you gonna wait? It's 2022. What you got to lose? You you've experienced a pandemic. You've probably experienced plenty other things in your own lifetime. Get it done. But I want you guys to understand that there's no recession in God's kingdom, and there's no pandemic in God's kingdom either. So don't use anything that's happening in this world as an excuse of why you can't do something. God is still blessing the household. He's still blessing you.
Mm.
Don't be a punk for Christ.
Don't be a punk for Christ.
All right.
Don't be a punk. Because the devil ain't scared. And sometimes we get scared, but he ain't scared. He be coming up in our camp like,
Yeah.
can I live, sir? Let me be. He
Right.
I'm the head and not the tail. I'm above and I believe. You're not today, Satan. Not
And
today.
also, look, virgin men do this and sex can wait a while. You know why? Because it waited a while.
Mm. He's a mess. So y'all be sure to check out Jeremiah. I do want to share this flyer as they have a different world is the title or the theme for this fashion
Yes,
week that's coming up June 26th. It's going to be amazing. It's going to be at New Covenant Church in Philadelphia on Germantown Avenue. Be sure to get y'all tickets. It's going to be good. I'm going to be there. Know that I'm going to be there because it was really, really good. I really enjoyed the first one. I'm excited for all that's going to continue to come. May doors continue to open. May they overtake you, overwhelm you, because what you're doing is good. And the most amazing part is that you stay humble in it. Like, it really is God. And I think that's I know that's the piece that helps those that are on platforms and trying to do different things succeed so much because God, He blows on it. And what He
yeah.
brings into is life. So I'm really, really excited. I thank you so much for joining us, Jeremiah. This was really, really good.
Yes, thank you
No
so
recession, God's kingdom. Mm.
so thank you so much for having me. This was amazing. This was
Thank
amazing.
you. It's unpopular. So, like, some friends come and listen today, they come and listen tomorrow, then they come back and be like, that was good. But I'm grateful that one, this has been marked in history and that somebody else can come hear it and grow from it, learn from it, and know that they are loved and cared for it and that they can make it. Thank
Amen.
you again, bro.
No
Oh,
problem, sis.
awesome. No, that was so amazing. I'm so grateful to have had my brother on tonight, Jeremiah Chase. Yo, he got some nuggets of wisdom. I do want to share some things with you. I want to say congratulations again to all of our Snack Attack Care Package winners. We are sending packages to Carlow University, Morgan State University, Purchase College, Shippensburg University, Temple University, and Worcester Polytech Institute. I low key, y'all can't see me, but I was like, "Can you get a car? And you get a car?" They getting baskets. I ain't got cars yet, keyword yet. But I'm so excited to be sharing those care packages. I do want to share. Last year we did it, and it's come back again. For my birthday, guess what? I just want y'all to buy a ticket because the Day of Empowerment is back. Saturday, May 14th, 2022. Let me tell y'all, when God is doing something this amazing, April 1st, the tickets will be available. You can go right to our website, select the events link, and purchase your ticket. I got some vendor space available. Guess what? I don't got two left. Them people are calling me because they are excited to be a part of that which we're doing. So, a Day of Empowerment is coming back. But until then, check out what we got planned for next week.
Well, hey there. Jen Cares is back again, and we invite you to tune in for the April series, Music of My Heart. Now, we know every month is special in its own way, but this series is not only a tribute to music, but it's to honor the queen that birthed Jen of Jen Cares, the late Ada E. Harris. So won't you join us for this beautiful musical tribute beginning on Monday, April 4th, as we will welcome David Winslow for our I'll Always Love My Mama episode. Then join us on Monday, April 11th for our Isn't She Lovely episode with Aaron Harden. Be sure to tune in on Monday, April 18th, as we will have Anthony Jefferson for our Count on Me episode. We're going to close out on Monday, April 25th with our One Sweet Day episode with Tamika Bird. Be sure to join in on Facebook Live or on YouTube by searching Chosen Counselors on Mondays at 8 p.m. Don't forget to mark your calendar and tell a friend, as this Jen Care series is brought to you by Chosen Counselors.
So, friends, it's going to be good. Don't forget to join us next week. I'm going to have David Winslow for I'll Always Love My Mama. Ironically, David knew my mom, and you'll hear all about this story next week. April 1st is actually her birthday. That's the day that we are releasing the tickets. I'm grateful for her. So, next month is in tribute to her. David is going to start us off, and then it's going to go throughout the rest of the month. I do hope that you do join us next month. I love each and every one of you. I appreciate each and every one of you. Don't forget our quote of the day. To solve big problems, you have to be willing to do unpopular things. Friends, it may be unpopular, but you might be able to solve a big problem by doing it that way. So I do love you all for real. Be sure to check out A Day of Empowerment. Tickets are released this Friday. Join us next Monday. And if you're able, go to Philadelphia Christian Fashion Week, A Different World on June 26th. I'll be sure to share that flyer as well. I always try to share it in my stories and things so that you can see it and that you too could be part of the kingdom good work that's going on in the city of Philadelphia. I thank you all so much for joining us for this month. I do hope that you were empowered, to March 4th, knowing that you are still packing, knowing that when you look in the mirror, you'll see some things, but hey, it helps you know how to navigate going forward, that you too can pursue your dreams. And guess what? Though unpopular, it still is able to be done. I do love and appreciate you all. Until next time. Peace.
Friends, we thank you for joining Jen Cares this week. Be sure to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Unable to watch us live? Be sure to find us on your favorite podcast platform. You can also visit our website, chosencounselors.com. That's chosen with a Z, so that you can stay in the know and most of all, never miss a show. If you found value in this episode, we'd appreciate you sharing it with a friend. Most of all, be sure to tune in for our next episode next Monday at 8 p.m. right here, as we specialize in bringing the community to you.